Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm Jose Hernandez and today on Mastering Conversational Chemistry, we're going to discuss the 3 destructive mistakes that we tend to make as presenters that could really affect how our presentations go. Right? So the first mistake I want to talk about is admitting that you made a mistake. We tend to rehearse our presentations dozens if not hundreds of times before we actually give the presentation. We go into it so confidently knowing that we already have it planned out how it's going to go, that if a mistake happens, we tend to freeze. Right, here's the deal. 9 out of 10 times your audience doesn't know that you made a mistake. They don't know what you're going to say. They came to hear you speak, not know what you're going to say, but to learn about what you were going to say. So a lot of times if you make a mistake, either A, they didn't catch it, or B, their own thought process corrected it and you can continue on with your presentation. If you get called out on a mistake, acknowledge the mistake, admit to it, move on to the next thing. Nobody really worries about it as much as you. We tend to be our own worst critics when it comes to this type of stuff. So if you make a mistake, just continue with the process. Keep on going with your presentation. Don't even worry about it because a lot of times people don't even catch it. All right, guys, don't get stuck on it and let it affect the rest of your presentation. Just continue, move on for it, and finish it with a bang, right? The second mistake we tend to make, and this is the one I am the most guilty of, is speaking too fast. Right? A lot of it can be with culture, where you're from, language barriers, accents, a lot of it, different variables with it, but we have to learn to catch ourselves. Being a Hispanic man, I tend to speak very, very fast. And if you get a little bit nervous, it tends to kick it up a notch and you can kick that high speed of talking into something even faster. And what happens when we tend to speak too fast is we get tongue-tied, we get cut up on our words, and we make more mistakes. So try to catch yourself. Practice breathing techniques, practice figuring out how many words you're trying to say in a certain amount of time and slow it down, right? You can speak a little bit clearer, you can get your point across a little bit better, and you can actually stretch out the amount of time that your presentation lasts so it can give the audience a little bit more time to understand what it is you're trying to say, right? And the third mistake that we tend to make is the idea of how we use our presentation tools. PowerPoint is one of the strongest tools a presenter can use, but we tend to misuse it or not use it to its full potential. All right, the problem with PowerPoint is it gives us something to follow our presentation so the audience can keep up with us. But here's the bad part. If you give your back to your audience to read off of your PowerPoint on the screen, you're now losing your audience. They're going to be reading your screen just like you are. Now they're no longer focused on what you're saying, they're focused on what they're reading. So you're losing the audience, okay? So you never want to get to the point where your PowerPoint slides have so much information that the audience is spending more time reading your slides than they are listening to you and what you're speaking about. Your PowerPoint is exactly what it's called. It is for your points of power, right? So make sure that the only information you have on your screen is what you're talking about and not all the information that you're talking about. Right? Also, if you have slides and you have different bullets on it, make sure you give one at a time. All right? PowerPoint has some amazing tools where you can have things appear, slide in. You don't have to go all high school on me and make it all colorful and crazy and interactive. Just make the slides and the bullet points show up as you're speaking about them versus all of them up at once, because again, you lose your audience. They're going to start reading your slide and going ahead of what you're actually saying. So now they're reading ahead of you and they're missing what you're saying. And when you're a presenter, you have to have control of the audience. Your information coming out of your mouth is more important than what's reading on the screen. All right, that's how you use PowerPoint to your advantage. Put your points of power and then you explain on them. And use your bullets one at a time. Don't put them all up there so you don't go crazy and your audience is already reading ahead of you. Because now when you start talking about the next bullet, they've already read it and now it seems like you're over redundant on something. All right, guys, those are 3 destructive mistakes we tend to make as presenters that we can work on and practice little by little to control them, all right? So if you mess up, move on, continue, don't even worry about it, just keep on going for it. If you speak fast, slow down. This is something I remind myself all the time, I even catch it in my videos. And the third thing is if you're using anything to present with, like PowerPoint, watch how much information, because you don't want to take the audience's attention away from you and put it somewhere else. All right, guys, those are 3 tips for today. Do me a favor, like the video, comment on it, share it, tell me what you think, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.